B5O-Bum. Let us tell you whence the giants come. Nearly every single culture around the world has tales of giant humans, from the Nephilim of the Bible's Old Testament to the Jotuns of ancient Norse mythology. Giants seem to hold a place in the collective memories of the human race. But are the tales of a race of giant humanoids only pure fantasy? In the last century, there have been thousands of reports of findings of giant skeletons. It has been reported skeletons ranging from 8 to 12 feet have been found among remains of ancient Native American burial mounds. There is even allegations that the Smithsonian Institution has been complicit in a cover-up of these findings in order to preserve established theories of mainstream science, and that many of these giant skeletons remain hidden within the Smithsonian Institution's underground archives. Are the ancient stories of giants from Native American tribes nothing but tall tales? Is there a theory that ties these giant humanoids into the story of ancient humanity? Follow the theorists as they climb the beanstalk in search of giants.
Welcome to Alien Theorist Theorizing, Case File 70!
Woo!
Giants! Waste of time. Giants! Case File 70, I'm Braden.
I'm Zell.
I'm Dan.
Andrew.
The crew's back.
Boys are back in town. Boys are back in town. First podcast with us all on for a while.
First one since Alien Con.
So, I'm going to be on a little bit of a hiatus for a little bit after this one.
Where are you going? North
I'm
of the
going
wall?
Bigfoot hunting. Coming south.
Yeah.
I'm going south of the Pacific. I'm going Pacific North, South, West.
Pacific North, Southwest.
Yeah.
Oh.
Into Oregon. I'm going to go down to Oregon and slowly make my way back up to the wall.
Do some serious squatching.
I'm going to do some serious... I'm going to be fucking knocking trees everywhere.
Are you going to you going to go to the Bigfoot Syndicate or Sasquatch Syndicate?
Maybe. I'll probably stop by. I got to look where they are, where they're located and stuff. But I don't see why not. I've got nothing else to do, so I got nothing but time, so I might as well. I'm gonna post some pictures. So maybe on my way through Kelowna, Zell, I'll pick up that little iPhone mic and record some live squatching.
Yep. Let's do it.
While I'm going down. You got Expedition 2019 is confirmed it will be held June 27th to June 30th, Olympic National Park.
That's
I think you're a
2019.
little
That's
too
next
late.
year.
Oh, yeah. So this is next year.
Next
so
year.
Next year.
The syndicate's having a camp out next year, June 27th, June 30th. The exploratory trip will include Pacific Northwest habitat discussion, casting, campfire stories, field investigation, and lectures.
That's dope.
You know what?
That sounds
I'm gonna put us down for that. Maybe that's something we could do next year.
That's not that far away. That would be an inexpensive, awesome trip.
I don't know. Does that entail camping? Because it sounds a lot like camping.
You're coming camping, buddy.
don't
It's
know.
time.
Yeah, you love
It's
camping.
time. I thought you liked camping now.
It's talk's cheap.
I'll tell you when I don't like camping. I just went this last week and it rained the entire fucking time.
Yeah, it's miserable.
The entire time. It didn't stop for 3 days.
Ugh.
That's why I didn't go camping, because I was like, oh, I'll wait Saturday and I'll see, and if it is, I'll tow my trailer somewhere. And it was fucking miserable. I was like, no, I'm not camping in this. What a waste. I'd just be sitting stuck in the camper, like reading books. Nothing wrong with that, but
You can do that at home.
Well, you're in a camper.
Yeah.
I'm in a tent. And I had to drive 3 hours, so I wasn't turning around. I was like, I fucking came all this way. I'm camping. I don't give a fuck.
Soggy the entire time.
Like, I sleep in my canopy, so it's fine. But the tent, like, the water. There's so much water, it just comes through the ground pretty much. Nothing you can do, but it's all good.
Fuck that.
Well, that sucks too because then it's like then you gotta fucking when it dries you gotta air out your tent or it's all fucking moldy.
Yeah, exactly. And I came home to air out my tent. It's raining still, so what am I gonna do?
Shitty.
Put it in my fucking living room, I guess.
Anyways, let's get into some space news.
You got.
Well, this is Elon Musk tweeted that the Tesla Semi's autopilot system will include a Mad Max mode.
Dope.
Dope.
Sounds awesome.
Is equipped with a blind metal shredding guitar player with flamethrowers on the front.
It just pops up a little like AI robot pops up shooting fire. He didn't really specify, and when questioned about like they're like, okay, like how does it work? And he's like, don't worry about it.
How do you say something like that and you don't elaborate on what it means? It's gonna have a Mad Max mode. What is it? Don't worry about it.
And you're like, that sounds like a little bit scary. No reason for this. He's like, don't worry about it. You'll see it when you see it.
I got this.
It's probably because he probably watched the newest Mad Max and he was like, fuck, they would have been so much better off if they could have been both shooting guns than one of them worrying about driving.
That's true.
Right? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
The solar minimum is coming for the 5th day in the row and the 92nd day so far in 2018. The sun is blank, meaning no sunspots. This featureless disk is a sign of the solar minimum coming. It appears to be approaching even faster than forecasters predicted. It means weak solar activity, but a boost in cosmic radiation in the Earth's atmosphere. So prepare for superpowers.
Go out there and get your superpowers, everybody.
I think that's
That was
basically what it
Fantastic
means.
Four.
Okay, well, what solar minimum? So the sun's just at its lowest point of energy.
Yeah.
For how long?
Well, it's like a cycle. So the number of spotless days last year, for example, were 104 the whole days. And we're halfway through the year. We're already at 92. 2016 was 32 days. 2015 was 0 days. The last time we had triple digit numbers was 2009. After that, it's barely. So it basically goes through a cycle. The sun's like really calm, and then it'll start flaring up for the next 7 or 8 years or whatever. So I just thought it was cool. I was reading that. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And then it was showing like the spotless days. Dude, between 2011 and 2016, there was 3 spotless days.
Wow.
Right? So
Crazy.
I don't know what the actually. I just think it's got to mean superpowers.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
We're all gonna become heralds of Galactus. And pretty much that's how it works.
Yeah.
I think that's all I had for space news. Really, I was hearing about they keep talking about that space new space hotels on the radio when I'm driving around. $720,000 for a night.
No big deal.
First guest 2022. So Patreon, sign up. Help your boys stay one night in space for a king's ransom.
Fucking right.
Well, I think we do have to say Happy International UFO Day, which is today.
Yes, while we're recording this, it is UFO Day. I didn't really know there was a UFO Day till like last week, and someone's like, "What are you guys doing for UFO Day?" I was like, recording a
about
podcast."
giants.
It's fitting.
Yeah.
Doing a podcast that has nothing to do about UFOs.
Yeah. Well, it might not be because backed by popular demand. Braden, you want to announce the news?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Randomatron X3, fully built and operational.
Back, baby.
People, a lot of people actually were fucking freaking out because the X2 blew up. But
They thought it was just
Who
gone.
we said?
They thought it was gone for good.
no, it blew up.
It was gone.
We said we were going to do something new, and we built the Randomatron X3. It's going to be a little bit different though.
Office Space style.
So how the X2 is actually, or the X3 is, we've hooked it up to my my Google Mini, and we've used a tethered AI that randomly searches the internet for all genres of stuff we talk to about
We've
UFO,
expanded the parameters.
paranormal, cryptids, pretty much weird occurrences, and it just randomly gives us a genre and a story. And so we're just going to read it. Should we try it out?
Yeah, let's load it up.
Do I have to hit a button on this one, or do I just say go ahead X3? I'm not sure.
No, you'd actually just think.
Just think. It just,
you just think it knows.
Okay.
It fucking knows, man.
Well, I'm thinking at it right now.
Paranormal.
All right.
Yeah. Wow.
All right.
Hey, ghost story. It says paranormal. Okay. This is the story. It's popped up on the internet from me. It's called The Boy with No Eyes.
Ooh, Jesus. Shit.
This is from K-Mendo4. I don't know where the X3 got it, but it just says from written by K-Mendo4, titled The Boy with No Eyes.
We didn't say it fact checked.
It doesn't fact check.
It doesn't fact check.
Just these are real stories.
Uncut.
Real people. Unfact checked. All right. Here we go. You know what? Every time I'm about to read and I'm like prepping myself, I remember that one, like we got a message from someone that's like, I love when Braden reads live on air because he can hardly read and I have dyslexia and it makes me feel more confident about myself.
Hey,
So I like
you're
every
doing the world a
time-
favor.
I think about that and it just kind of gives me some confidence to just go ahead and just read this.
You be you, man.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
You be you.
The boy with no eyes. One night when I was 10, I was woken up by my bedroom door opening, followed by someone sitting on my bed. I felt my leg grazed and my bed sink under a person's weight.
Oh, shit.
Thinking it was my mom, I opened my eyes to see an eyeless boy.
Fuck.
He had black, empty sockets. About my age, sitting at the foot of my bed. He extended his hand, and in it was a little box.
Oh, shit.
I was startled, but I reached out, and he pulled back. I reached again and said, "Give it." Then I blinked, and when I reopened my eyes, he was gone. But the imprint of someone sitting on my bed was present. Fast forward 5 years. My girlfriend came over to do homework. After she finished, she took a nap while she waited for her parents. When they arrived, I tried waking her up. She suddenly opened her eyes, looking up at the corner where the wall met the ceiling. She pointed there and went back to sleep. I shook her again. She came to full consciousness, and I explained what she'd done. She said, up on the wall, I saw a little boy with no eyes. He was there in a Spider-Man pose staring at me. I freaked out and told her my story about the same kid. So that was him 15. Fast forward another 5 years, 20 years old. I was with the same girlfriend, and we had a 2-year-old. Oh,
Jeez.
Jesus. This is a teenage pregnancy PSA. We were living in my parents' house in my old room. My daughter started waking up at the same time every night, and she'd talk. After a while, I noticed she had almost the same conversation every night. I playfully asked her once whom she was talking to. She said, "It's a little boy. He's nice. He's lost and looking for his mummy." My daughter's nightly conversation continued until we got our own place later that year. Thus ending his ghostly experience with the no-eyed child.
I miss the fucking stupid, weird ones with people with dumb names. That was scary.
That was a little scary.
There
I
was-
like that. I
it
feel
was-
uncomfortable.
No, it gave me chills.
Yeah, that's fucked.
It was a good story, but like my thing is, I'm like, this kid with no eyes, how does he know where to, like, he reached his hand out to the kid. How did he know where he was? Can't see?
Doesn't need to see,
Yeah,
man.
it is a
Wait.
ghost.
I got fixated on when she said he's in a Spider-Man pose, and there's about
Yeah.
like 3 Spider-Man poses that I can think of, and like they're all kind of weird. I know she probably means like in the corner on the wall like a spider, with his hands on the wall. But I'm thinking like shooting webs or like hanging upside down.
You know
like,
that one where he's sitting on the corner of the walls where he's like, you know what I mean? His hands are kind of between his legs and his knees are up kind of thing. That's what I picture. Or like when he's
hanging upside down.
When he's sitting there, when he's got his like hands against the wall and his feet against the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I picture. I was kind of stuck on that for a bit too.
Fuck that, man. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
am
fucked.
not.
I didn't like that. That's
No, I didn't like that either.
He's trying to give him the box. It's the box from Hellraiser. I forget what it's called.
Fucked.
It's that fucking box.
I was waiting for him to make the little box disappear.
I like how he's like, give it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me that thing, you little fucking eyeless bastard.
That's appropriate response for a 10-year-old, though, right?
Give it.
What's in the box?
Come on.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Yeah, we still don't know what's in the fucking box, do we? Maybe his eyes. Maybe he opened it and his eyes are in there.
Oh, and,
shit.
and they look at you?
Yeah.
Kind
Kind of like fucking Beetlejuice, when
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin makes his head fucking all stretched back and his little eyes
Yeah.
are... Yeah.
I was thinking like that thing from Pan's Labyrinth where he has the hands, except it's just the eyes free in a box.
Oh, that's probably exactly what it was.
Whoa.
Ugh.
Give me the creeps.
Yeah, that was... I don't like that one. That's fucked.
No. Maybe we should turn down the horror on the X3. Maybe
I feel like
just-
if you know what I mean, like, okay, you had that dream, it was fucked, weird. I can get over it. It happened when I was a kid. But then when my girlfriend has the exact same fucking experience,
Yeah.
I'm not putting my kid in that room. Fuck that. I'm not going in that room again. Not a fucking chance. No.
Hell no.
Not only that, the other thing that bugs me about that story is how common is it with these fucking ghost stories when these people explain the pressure on them? You know what I mean? When they're in bed. That is such a fucking eerily common theme in ghost stories, man.
You can feel the weight of a person on the bed.
How many times have you fucking heard that, though?
Often.
Zelly's
I've
said
experienced
that.
it.
That's right. You
It's a
told me
weird
that.
feeling, man.
Yeah.
You're on the bed and like it's like someone sits on the end of the bed and the whole side of the bed just kind of grows down a couple inches. And you're like, oh, that's weird.
I'm not even going to... If I ever feel that weight on my bed ever again, I'm just going to leave. I'm not even going to look. I'm just going to get up and walk out.
I'm not even going to stick
right.
around.
I'm not even going to see it. Bye.
I think the only thing to do is close your eyes tighter and just pretend it's not there.
Yeah, it's all good. It's just going to go away.
If I don't
I
look,
had
it can't scare me.
No, man, I'm fight or flight. As soon as anything fucked up happens, I'm gone.
Gone.
I don't know. Some of these things I think are sleep. I have sleep paralysis more than like all the time. Like, I get that stuff so much.
That's so fucked up.
Freaks me out. I had it the other day. I had it the other night. I had a sleep paralysis thing. But the weird thing was like I got stuck in it, and the thing like I'm trying to, I know I'm stuck, and then I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, what am I gonna do here? And I'm like, you know what I thought of? I thought of the Green Lantern mantra.
Ah, nice. Nice. Yeah.
And it broke, and it worked. It broke out. It was weird. I'm not even joking. That's exactly what I said. I said the whole Green Lantern thing, and I was like, oh fuck. I was like, in brightest day and darkest night. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I could like move around. I was like, oh god, this.
Maybe you are a Green Lantern.
Maybe.
That'd be
That's
neat.
what it is. Fucking Sinestro's fucking with you while you're trying to sleep.
That'd be boss.
Guy's a dick.
Dan, you don't see shadow people though, do you?
No, I've never seen shadow people. I get sleep paralysis, but I've never seen shadow people. I mean, I've had sleep paralysis where I felt like there's something like just on the side of the view, but I always think that's just paranoia. That's just like that feeling of helplessness. Like I can't look over there, so I think something's over there.
And I
Like,
never
can
slept
feel
again,
that.
ever. That happened to me once. All it would take is one case of sleep paralysis. Never sleep again. Never.
I get
Fucking
it's like,
never.
I don't know. I just get it all the time now, and
That's
I don't know why.
fucked.
And it's like I'll wake up and I just can't move, and I'm like, God damn it, again! Like,
Can you go see
seriously?
somebody about this?
Yeah,
Like,
it's weird. It's weird, buddy.
I think you need to get these demons exorcised or something, man. That's fucked up.
Exercise the demons.
This house is clear.
All right, let's get to the topic at hand.
What is the
Giants.
topic again? Giants. Yeah. So what do you guys think? What do you like? I don't know. They had a pretty disappointing record last season. You know what I mean? Like Eli's kind of in the,
They had 2 Super Bowl wins and they're done
that's about it.
forever.
I don't know. Saquon Barkley's gonna turn that team around. I think you got OBJ coming off injury.
No, okay, I can't go down this road. No.
Well, that's a-
No.
What other Giants?
No.
Are we talking
All right.
MLB Giants?
Talking
So,
Andre, talking
what-
Andre the Giant.
Oh, that's
you
what I
wanna
thought
talk
too.
about that
Okay,
too?
so
I
he's a
can-
legendary
Perfect.
drinker. It was
Yeah.
once said
So-
that he drank over 100 beers in a sitting.
Totally.
Fact. He had to use hotel bathtubs to poop in.
Yeah,
Fact.
he was so big. Fact.
Fucking
Um,
right.
No, we're talking.
An ancient race of 7 to 12 foot tall, red-haired or white-haired, depending on who you're talking to, giants that once roamed North America and parts of Europe.
How tall? Sorry, say that again.
7 to 12 feet tall,
Oh, okay.
depending.
Okay.
But most of the accounts I find are like 7 to 9 feet tall. But
Okay.
this pretty much all started. Me and Dan went to see Hugh Newman at AlienCon, and he gave a pretty
Human.
That's a fucking great name, Hugh Newman. Yeah, I know Hugh. He's a good guy.
Hugh, he's a good guy. But yeah, he
Hugh
gave a
Newman.
pretty compelling account on giants, really. And first thing he said, and the first thing we're going to say, is when you type in proof of giants on Google, and there's these skulls that are the size of fucking Volkswagens, and they're like look like they're 30 feet tall, complete hoax. So let's get that out of the way right away. So if you search that and you say like, oh shit, 30-foot giant, nah, no good.
Nah.
But I don't know, Dan, you want to do your weekly summary of the case file?
Yeah, sure. So if you go back in history, giants are a prevalent theme in a lot of ancient mythologies, like everywhere. I mean, you got the Titans from the Greek mythology, frost giants, and Norse mythology. Just about everywhere, every culture has stories of giants, of large, people ranging from, just a little above average to huge giants. But what we're mainly going to concentrate on some of the North American types. Now, the one that we want to talk about basically is the ones that Hugh Newman and his team took on the job of investigating the Lovelock Caves. Now, the Lovelock Caves are a system of caves which are located in a part of Nevada. Now, these caves were known to the Native American population, which were the Paiutes at the time, and they have an oral tradition that they told to early white settlers about a race of red-haired, cannibalistic white giants that their ancestors had called the Siteka. Now, Siteka literally translates to what they called tool eaters. Now, tool, spelled Tule, is a type of water plant that, according to their legends, the giants used that water plant and they wove rafts out of them to escape attacks from the Paiute. Now, the Paiutes' legends say that they drove these giants out of the lands that they had once held. So, they drove them into these system of caves. That's kind of the legend. This was the last stand of these giants. That they said that they drove these giants all the way into the caves, and then they set fires in front of the cave in order to flush out these giants. And now this is like, they claim this to be completely true, and they figured that this was the last they ever saw the giants. That they drove the giants into these caves, and that any of them that came out, when they did come out, they shot them full of arrows, and the ones that stayed inside either asphyxiated or died of heat exhaustion. So you have to say that. Now, for the longest time, this was thought to be just a legend, but the early explorers in the early part of the 20th century actually heard the stories of the Paiutes, and one of them, at least, a mining engineer named John T. Reed attempted to excavate the cave after hearing about this. So he didn't get very far, kind of lacked the necessary funding, and didn't get really that far into these caves. These caves have actually predate human habitation of the United States. So these caves have been around for a very long time. Now, after John T. Reed's attempt, two miners named James Hart and David Pugh realized the value of the guano inside those caves, since guano is an ingredient in gunpowder and things like that. And they started digging it out in 1911, but they didn't have any regard for the actual artifacts that they had begun to found. So they were just kind of blasting and ripping stuff up. So things might have become lost at that point. Now, Alfred Kroeber, he's the founder of the University of California Anthropology Department, was contacted by Hart and Pugh, and they reported finding these artifacts that they had found. So this kind of sparked Kroeber's interest, and he go ahead and had an actual dig of the Lovelock Caves, which was led by another guy named L.L. Loud in 1912. So in 1924, there was a second dig, and then there was an actual report published in 1929. Now, among the stuff that was found, they said approximately about 10,000 archaeological specimens were uncovered during that time. So tools, bones, baskets, weapons, all kinds of stuff. And they have a couple of these things that they found there. And they said that they found is inside the cave, they found 60 average height mummies, like actual people mummies, right? Average height. So they weren't giants, right? And they also found a lot of other things, artifacts. One of the interesting things was they found duck decoys. And you can see pictures of these online. And they're actually the oldest known in the world with feathers still attached, which is kind of neat. But they also found, what was strange, they said they found a sandal which was over 15 inches long.
Holy, that's a big fucking sandal.
That's a big foot, size 15 shoe. Person's probably going to be pushing about 190 centimeters tall. That would probably be the average height for that.
What is that in real measurement?
In real measurement, 193 centimeters?
You're Canadian, you're supposed to know that.
Yeah, you're supposed to know that. That's why I put it in that thing for you. That's why
that's why you put it in centimeters just for us?
Yeah.
Don't ever do that again. Don't ever assume what I know and what I don't know.
No, it's like that's like 6'9" or something.
100 and what is it?
193 centimeters.
93. That's 6'3", yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty big.
That's big for back then.
190.
Yeah.
No, I think that's wrong.
Oh, you guys are fucking carpenters. You should know this shit.
Well, I never convert. I either use one or the other.
That's fair.
It's. I looked it up on Google, and Google's never lied.
All right, 6'3". That's not that big. He's got big ass feet
No.
though.
Yeah. So I mean, it's average height. I think that was like I looked at proportions, and like that's the average height of somebody would be that tall. But you could be short and just have really big feet. But I don't know. For the people for Hugh Newman, then the people who were looking into this stuff, like that was kind of evidence enough to say that one time maybe giants really did exist. That these giants weren't just a myth.
Well, let's be realistic here. Like the tallest man in history, where they have irrefutable evidence, is Robert Pershing Wadlow, and he was born in Illinois, and he was 8 feet 11 inches tall. And there's you can look up pictures of this guy, and
He's fucking tall.
Well,
he was huge.
when did Hugh Newman find this sandal?
Oh, Hugh Newman didn't find it.
Right.
This was this was during the excavations in the early 20th century, so 1912 to 1920.
So think about it, what was the average height back then?
Shorter, for
Right,
sure.
like 5'5" maybe.
Probably, that's fair, probably.
You know what I mean? So obviously you're gonna see a sandal that fucking big. It was fucking giant.
Well, that got to have been a giant in his day for sure.
No, exactly.
Whatever
But
it was.
we have giants in our day right now too. Look at fucking Shaq. Shaq's got bigger feet than this dude.
And Shaq's
You know what I
pretty
mean?
fucking tall.
Shaq's a fucking giant.
He's a big dude. I saw him on the Family Feud, man. He was so much bigger than Steve Harvey. Like it's
fucking
just
huge.
he's huge.
It's so hard to fathom that is a human being. Like that, me and that person are the same species.
Shaq's like as tall as you can get without being considered you have giantism.
No, Shaq's a fucking giant.
No, but he doesn't have giantism.
But
What-
it's fucking crazy
Dude,
that
all
there's
the guys
humans that
in the NBA are
big.
huge. Even Charles Barkley is big. Charles Barkley's standing next to Shaq.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
what's the average height in the NBA is like fucking 6'4", 6'4"
All right,
to
the
6'6".
tallest. I just looked it up. The tallest person in history not suffering from a growth abnormality with perfectly normal proportions. His name was Angus McCaskill, and he was a Scottish-born Canadian in 1825, and he grew to 7 feet 9 inches.
Holy
God
fuck,
damn.
that's fucking
That's like the
crazy.
mountain for real.
And he was perfectly proportioned. Like he didn't have. He was. They also said he was the strongest man to live in modern history.
That's awesome.
When was that dated though? When was this?
1825 to 1863.
Yeah, I bet you the Mountain's stronger than him now. Mountain's the strongest guy in the world right now.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's not like he doesn't finish first in every category.
I'm pretty sure. No, like he's now
Holy
deemed
shit.
the strongest man.
Well, I know he
Hey.
he just won the World's Strongest Man competition,
Yeah.
but he
Hey.
didn't place first in every
No.
thing. He's not like
Angus
above everyone else.
McCaskill was well known for his immense strength
And his huge dick.
He allegedly managed to lift a 2,800-pound ship anchor to shoulder height.
Oh, fuck.
That's awesome.
See, don't tell me that's not a fucking giant. That's a fucking
Right?
giant.
He's a giant.
He would
He's a giant.
carry barrels of wine, of full wine, under his arm.
Wow.
How long did he live? What was his lifespan?
He worked. He lived 1825 to 1863. So he wasn't that old.
Started doing the math in your head, and you're like,
It didn't quite make
Yeah.
40.
Yeah.
Kind of went beep beep boop boop boop.
I think that's the average for these fucking giant dudes, though. They just
But
don't.
he-
They don't have the
This,
lifespan.
this guy actually worked for P.T. Barnum's circus.
That makes sense.
Was playing a freak. Was playing
Yeah.
a giant.
Strongman. He's playing the strongman.
That would make sense.
No, okay, but so there is. You can call people giants, but there's not a race.
Yeah.
There's not a race of giants. There's not a race of people. Wherever we
Well,
go,
no, it's like,
everyone
you
is.
know, even in, it's just crazy because it's like it's just everywhere. I mean, one of the famous ones, you know, from Genesis, the quote where there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare
giants.
children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old men of renown. So you know, like these.
They're like called
these-
Nephilim or something, right?
Yeah,
Nephilim.
Well, yeah, those were the Nephilim, the
Nephilim.
Well,
angel.
I think they
hybrid.
translate Nephilim from like Hebrew to giant in like the new version of the Bible. But if you go through like the Old Testament, I got this article up here. There's this like 40 or 50 different accounts in the Old Testament, and not just the Old
Yeah.
Testament. Like in every ancient scripture, they all mention some type of giants. They just have a different name, right?
Like a whole tribe of giants, or just random.
I'm
giants?
not discounting there could be a whole tribe. There could have been like a whole tribe just with gigantism, you know, or just they were genetically predisposed to gigantism. I wouldn't see why that wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility.
Was it ever happened before?
What has it ever happened to be just a giant,
Like it's
a bunch of giants?
well, like that we know of. There's no like race of. There's no like a bunch of people in one place that get giantism.
Well, I mean,
Norwegians.
there's no real proof to that.
You go to some places in Europe, and there's like
Yeah,
the
they-
average height there is fucking 6 foot. You know what I mean? And to us, that's pretty ridiculous.
They're not giants, though. When we're talking about giants, we're talking about a different species of hominid that lived with us at a time in North America or otherwise that grew between 7 and 10 feet tall on a regular basis. Andrew's like, fuck no.
No, I don't. I call bullshit.
Well, he's also Jon Snow. He didn't do any research.
You heard me talk about Nephilim or whatever the hell. Yeah, yeah.
The hardest thing for me is it's not like you never see like you'll see like every now and then you'll see like a picture they dig up and they'll be like they have this one encased like fucking giant, you know what I mean, this 7 foot like, and they're like, look at this fucking giant. But it's could be just like someone with giantism back then. Like it's not like, I don't know, maybe in all my research I didn't find any time where they're like, oh, we found a fucking graveyard of all giants or like a collection of giant bones. Like it's always just like a one-off thing.
Well, now that's where the conspiracy starts. If like Hugh Newman, he goes through and he has like over 1,000 newspaper articles from 1820 to 1940, all over especially in like the northeastern United States, like Ohio and an area like that. Hundreds of accounts, different newspapers calling about they found giants between 7 and 10 feet tall. So that's where the conspiracy comes in. That in about 1940 or so, there was a massive effort by the Smithsonian and other powers in academia to kind of annihilate this from the history books.
Yeah, but why? Like that's what I don't understand. Where do you benefit from
Well, it's
banning?
so yeah, they have all these people in their disciplines researching human origin, and they have very set, this is what happened. This we know they came from Africa and all this stuff, and it's a perfect line. So anything that's just a conspiracy. Anytime there's a thing that throws off the actual way of thinking, first it's ridiculed, and then it's just kind of buried. So that's pretty much he's
I
trying
came
to.
across a kind of cool thing because in respect to those claims about the Smithsonian hiding or covering up everything, the Smithsonian says that they display less than 1% of its collections at any given time.
For sure.
So they've got like tons of stuff down there, and like there are things down there that won't see the light of day for decades or even maybe like a century. Like they have so much stuff down there. They've got like an entire herd of elephants that Teddy Roosevelt shot, and that's on one floor.
I picture it like the warehouse in Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
Exactly,
I
probably.
have no doubt that's exactly what it looks
Just
like.
rows of
Did you
25-foot shells.
Did you say allegedly Teddy Roosevelt shot a shitload of giants?
No, I
Elephants.
heard of elephants.
Oh, I like you cracked out a little bit, and I'm like, what? How is that a rumor?
Yeah, I think you should start that
believe
rumor.
if he did it.
Yeah,
I think you should start that rumor. Let's
Teddy
fucking
Roosevelt was a
rumor.
badass. I believe.
yeah.
it.
Teddy Roosevelt shot a herd of giants.
He fucking
That's what I
hated
heard.
the guy. Was super racist against
Yeah.
giants. Couldn't stand him.
Yeah, he's like, I'll shoot you down to size.
Bully for me. But that's just kind of the stuff it does. There's another thing that they say that about like in respect to Native American like average height. They said that a lot of populations within like the woodland and the Mississippian populations in North America were not giants. They said that in most cases they can actually observe a decrease in the average height, and they say that this is actually a common trend that is observed with a lot of other cultures, and that when your civilization undergoes the switch between hunting, gathering, and agriculture, the height actually the average height goes down. It decreases, which they say is because maximum height is correlated with childhood protein consumption, and so a high reliance on grain during childhood, as with agricultural societies, tends to result in shorter stature. So
That makes
stop
sense.
eating grains, eat more
yeah.
meat.
Totally makes
Get
sense.
tall. So Native Americans might have been actually taller
Yeah,
than
but-
Europeans,
and
and,
then-
they just thought they were giants.
Yeah, but then when you look at it, like now the average height is bigger than it's ever been, and we are arguably getting far less fucking nutrients than we've historically ever gotten. You know what I mean? Like there's been, maybe it's the GMO shit that's making us grow a little bit more, but like as far as nutrients, protein, and shit like that, we're getting way less than we ever have.
I hear people say it all the time, but I've never really seen a good articles. How do you know what in the 1800s
Yeah.
what people were eating
Fuck-
in nutrition
fuck
wise?
that.
I can,
Well, you weren't.
Yeah.
I take adult vitamins every day.
Yeah, but the reason why we have to take these vitamins more and more now is because we're not getting those nutrients from our foods, right? Everything's fucking processed and garbage.
Not everything.
What about chicken fries? I've been eating those nonstop. Protein, bread, grain.
It's got everything
Oils.
you need.
That'd be one thing.
Health, fats.
That's one thing I'd want to know more about is, like, you have an organic grain-fed chicken you raise in your house. You can test it and see like to what was done in like a factory farm, and if there's really like, some people say it's only 1% of the nutrients. I'm like, well, then people would all be dead because we would get nothing. So, anyways, that's a whole nother case file. But so giants, I think I might be the only one I'm on the pro giant side, only
Let's hear-
because only
I'm pro Giants as well. I 100%. There's fucking Giants
No.
right now.
I
I know a guy that's fucking 7'2". Guy's a goddamn fucking giant.
Andrew walks around. Everyone's a giant.
Exactly. Especially think about it. Back in the day in the 1800s when everybody's fucking 4 foot tall, and then you got this one random guy who's 6 foot fucking 6'1". He's gonna be a giant. You're gonna lose your shit. Be like, the size of this fucking prick. It's huge.
See, that's my thing. Is like my thing. It's like it's all the times it's one off. So Zelly, I'm interested to hear your pro giant of.
I really don't think you guys really gave it much of a shot, to be honest.
I'll give it.
Well, let's hear it.
I'm giving it a
Let's
shot.
hear- let's-
So
100%.
all these native cultures from all over North America all talk about a race of giants before them that they had a fight or whatever, blah blah blah. But then you go
Yeah.
across all the northeastern states, especially, but pretty much all over the country, gigantic burial mounds that no one can link to actual Aboriginal culture that we know about. Some of them are bigger in stature, like in actual overall volume, than the Great Pyramid of Giza. And no one knows. There's no record of Aboriginal culture building these. They always attributed it to a race of giants.
Yeah, and the sucky thing is, I mean, in respect to the cultures, Native American cultures and First Nations and all that, like we can't get into those. Like we can't dig them up. They're all protected under law.
Well, they dug a bunch up, and that's where all these newspaper articles come from. They dug up these mounds, and they found bones that measure between 7 and 10 feet tall.
Yeah, but then they had to return. A lot of those they had to return.
Yeah, so
They
that's
had
what I
to give them
mean.
back.
Yeah, but I mean, now you can't dig up these mounds. So if people are like,
Yeah,
"Oh, where's the
that's what I'm
proof?
saying.
Where's the proof of them? So now, say if we can go dig up a bunch of these mounds and we actually find giants, but we can't dig them up now.
What about that photography shit they've been using in Egypt and finding all these brand new fucking buried cities and shit like that? Can't we?
That's just for like
That's for like
that's
voids
just,
and stone and shit, though.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
work
You
with
can't
bones.
find bones with that stuff.
I don't know.
Oh, I can't see why not.
We can't do like Jurassic Park where they shoot the bullet into the ground. And,
That's not real. You can't really do that.
I don't think so.
Okay, so I'm talking about the one mound. It's called the
Oh, I'm rattled now. I didn't know. I thought that was.
Yeah, what is it called? I want to know. I want to look it up.
Cahokia Mound. Is 100 feet tall with a 14-acre base. So an
How do
entire
you spell it?
C-A-O
C-A-H.
C-A-H.
Okay, Dan, you tell him.
C-A-H-O-K-I.
I already figured it out.
Yeah.
Oh, those are wild looking.
It's crazy. So that's like, you know how there's like megalithic structures all over the world that they don't know who built them? It's the same thing with these mounds. No one really knows who built these mounds. And they're all there's hundreds
where
and
are
hundreds
these?
hundreds and hundreds of mounds all over the place.
Cool.
And they're pretty much they're deemed Aboriginal sites. You can't disrupt them. So you can't dig any more up for the last like 70 years. So all the newspaper articles, honestly hundreds and hundreds of articles pertaining to digging up by or close to these mounds. Not only in North America, but also in England and Ireland.
So
also
they're all over the world. These mounds.
not all over the world, but in pretty much the Western world that we would consider Western world, like North America and Europe for the most part. In all these like pretty much either stone or just dirt mounds, buried giant skeletons, hundreds and hundreds of these mounds all over, and no one knows where they're from. So that's part of the theory.
So and none
They're
of the,
finding
we
more
have
and more evidence for a large scale civilization, like a large undiscovered civilization that we don't know about or don't know a lot about, for like at least for the southern United States, around like the Mississippi Delta in that area. There's a lot more interest in that now that they've been finding evidence that there was a large expansive culture there that they didn't know about before.
Yeah, it's the same thing as like we are very slow to work backwards. When we think we know something, it's 100 years before you change it. So now when they say it's like they don't know who built this or don't know who built that, they don't know who built these, but they will never attribute it to a lost civilization. Right? So when I'm going to go down a little theory tangent.
Okay.
All right, let's hear.
So like I've talked about it before, like the Younger Dryas era, about 12,000 years ago. I talked about how they think it's probably a fragmented comet that struck the poles, causing like widespread, like extreme flooding across the entire world, referred to as the Great Deluge and like all these ancient scriptures. So I'm on board the theory that ancient scriptures are all based on the central event, and then they've been fragmented over time in cultures for their own stories and their own names, right?
Yeah.
But just like the giant, like megafauna and like all these crazy, like the short-nosed bear and like the mammoth and the mastodon, all these huge like mammals that died out around that era. A different race of hominid. I'm not saying anything ET or extraterrestrial. Just a different race of hominid. Yeah, when they find all these skeletons and shit, they measure like the brain cavity, and it's like sometimes 2 or 3 times larger than what ours would be, what they claim. So if there was a race of hominids before this great flood, let's call it, it was actually just a comet that destroyed the ice caps and raised the sea levels 400 feet or whatever. The theory is, like Graham Hancock's talked about it, Michael Tellinger, Hugh Newman, like all these guys talk about it, that there could have been like a pretty much global spanning civilization, maybe not all connected, like not like one country or anything, but a very advanced, very smart species of hominids that built all these superstructures and died out over time after the flood. And that's why there's like accounts in like the Bible and other scriptures of like humans fighting giants, and they finally like there's like 1,000 humans to one giant, and they eventually like wipe them out. That's like the central theory when people talk about giants. If you get through the hoaxes and all the bullshit, it's very possible that there was a species of hominid that was just bigger than us, 2 or 3 feet bigger. It's not that, I don't think it's that far out of the question. So that's pretty much the main theory with giants, especially in North America.
And now they've come back to form the NBA.
it's
No, I'm down with that.
That's
Because
fucking
I'm-
cool. That's awesome.
It's a cool theory.
That's fucking rad. That's super rad. I
And
want to.
It doesn't seem that far out of fucking possibility.
Not
really.
at all.
Well,
No.
especially now, it's like we're finding new, different species of, hominids, like almost every year.
All the time.
Well, we found evidence of the Denisovans, which was previously unknown. We had no idea that species existed. And, finding these things is like, you have to be extremely lucky to find like actual human remains, like, and especially like a whole different species. Like, finding these things it's not easy, because mostly humans are like, we don't settle in areas that, you would find the remains of like a person, just like, especially if it were like a global disaster, it might be really difficult to find some of the remains. I mean, things don't get fossilized like all the time.
That's what I mean. Like
No.
we've talked about it before. So if this race of giants was 12,000 years ago, the cataclysm hit, and then maybe they lingered for a few thousand years after, slowly dwindling because they couldn't feed themselves. They're like outdone by like modern humans.
or even not enough oxygen in the atmosphere anymore.
Or just not enough big enough breeding population. Like if they were like centralized in somewhere, say like, around North America or something like that, and there was some global cataclysm that caused them to either spread out or diasporize or whatever from that thing, and they just didn't have a large enough breeding population into whatever, and that's where maybe they did go to other civilizations and interbred with regular humans, and that's where you get your Goliaths and Samsons and stuff.
Yeah, and you can take it even farther. You say like, okay, we're like Homo sapiens. We lived at that time, right, with these people, and if these people were bigger and way stronger, and maybe they were smarter, maybe we just thought of them as gods, right? Maybe at the time, these people actually used. Maybe people are just wrong about alien intervention, and it was just a different breed of humans all along that was just stronger and better than us at the time, until this like global cataclysm like shifted the balance of the planet, and then we became the dominant species, and then we
It would
slowly
make more
eradicated
sense
them.
with the pyramids. Like,
Fuck, that's wild.
So you have these fucking giants building superstructures, because a 2-ton stone to a human is fucking heavy. Like you're gonna need leverage and pulleys and ropes and a bunch of people to move it. You can do
Yeah.
it, right? 2 tons.
5
It's
giants.
fucking heavy. Andrew.
I'll fucking deadlift that shit. Bring it.
So, but now, you go. But let's Andrew aside. Modern humans, it's heavy. But you got a
Mere
human.
mortals.
If you got a human that like this guy, what was that guy we're talking about who can fucking lift up 2,000 pounds?
Oh, Axel.
fucking,
Douglas McAxel or something.
Douglas
fucking
Angus,
something.
Angus son.
So if he's,
Angus
McCracken.
McDouble Axe.
let's call him Angus McCormick.
Yeah, there you go.
If he's like a modern proportioned human, right? But he's just really tall, and he's just that strong because he's that tall, but he's proportioned to us. If you look at like old like Neanderthal skeletons with way thicker bones, be able to have way more muscle, maybe these giants had more of a Neanderthal type build. So they were just one of these giants or whatever they were, just a different. Well, it's not even called giants. It's called there's a pre-human race of hominid. One of them is 10 times stronger than a person.
Well, and think about how much larger their brain would have to be too.
Well, yeah, that's what they say. Like the brain is like 2 or 4 times larger, depending on what skull you're talking about.
This is way too believable. Like
It's-
it's totally plausible. Like
It's-
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
That's it. What I started looking into. I was like, you know what?
You snacking what he's packing?
He just gave me a shovel. I can dig it.
Dude, I'm looking at this one of Hugh Newman's. I'm looking at some of like the news articles he has. He has this one of this guy. His name's Joe Taylor. He found without a doubt, like looking at it, they have it on like a penciled in skeleton, a 47-inch femur.
It's huge.
Fuck.
It's huge.
47 inches. It's huge.
Holy fuck.
What's a human?
Basically-
What's a human? 24 inches or something?
They figure
I think
they figure this femur, someone would stand at 14 to 16 feet tall with this.
Holy shit.
See, now things with that, there is. So I kind of went down that rabbit hole, and when they find giant femurs and stuff,
Most of the time hoaxes.
not hoaxes, just misidentification. So like mastodons and mammoths, right? They have huge
Yeah.
femurs, and when they're like, sometimes if you just find a femur, femurs of mammals look the same,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
So some people claim that like a mammoth died like in a weird way, and it kind of like the bones kind of laid like a human like would be laid to rest. You know,
Yeah.
Whatever happened, a cataclysm a flood flipped him over, buried him in mud, and he kind of got preserved like that. So when you start seeing the ones that are like, oh, I had this big of a femur, he's 30 feet tall. I was like, well, a mammoth is probably 30 feet long, so it's probably something like that. So when I went through anything over like 10 or 12 feet, I was like, that's probably misidentification, but maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, there's tons, like almost 1,000 news articles pre-1940.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm reading one about Captain Beasley and his party found giant relics of a giant prehistoric race. One of their finding is an incomplete skeleton, includes a skull. This is like in the news. They found it on this along the Amazon River. I'm just reading all these crazy news articles.
Yeah, where are those now though? Where is the skull? Like, where is this shit?
Well, that's the thing. That's weird. Like
it just doesn't make fucking sense.
You know what I really want to do? I'm going to contact Hugh Newman or maybe one of his colleagues. I want to get him on because
he's still alive.
Hugh Newman's the guy we seen at fucking Alien Con.
Yeah,
what?
we just saw him at Alien Con.
Oh fuck!
He's still alive?
Oh my god! He's been living for 3 weeks.
That's fucking crazy.
God damn it!
I want to meet him just because of his name. He's got a fucking cool name. Hugh Newman.
Yeah,
it's fucking dope.
That's a name that's on par with Ron Pond. That's that cool of a fucking name.
Goddamn good name for sure.
It's a fucking wicked name.
But in his stories and at AlienCon in this presentation, there is giant skeletons on display across the states in smaller counties with no public. There's not a lot of public like eye.
They're gonna have some shitty little fucking website where you're gonna be able to see it. They have to.
That's mean you have to go. You have to go. The only way I believe in it. Imagine this. There's a little like tiny. I'm just going to pick a random state in some random county in Ohio, close to some of these mounds where they dug some up, and they've kept. Say they have just maybe like a partial skeleton, but you're like no doubt that that's a human or like a hominid. What about then, Andrew?
I don't. Well, even with me, I'm going to be a skeptic. I don't fucking know. I watch movies where I'm like, that's fucking got to be real. That's not.
Yeah, but
it's not.
Those dinosaurs are real.
How about this?
I saw them.
Medical professional.
Yeah.
You know the human body pretty well.
Yeah.
Is there a bone in the human body that's only found in like hominids, like humans? No ape or no other thing like that. Because I don't know.
I don't think so.
Like any type of like hand bones or something, finger
Holy
bones.
Fuck, that's a
Maybe
really
like
good question.
Maybe like your pelvis would like. I think that would
Pelvis be shaped different than a ape,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
I think,
But those are hard to find. Like you can't find just like pelvises laying around.
Yeah,
I'll have that answer for you. I'm gonna look into
usually
that.
they're all crushed up from snoo.
From what?
So, is that from Futurama?
Dead by
Yeah.
Futurama joke with the fucking giant Amazons.
Yeah.
That's funny.
They're like smiling and horrified at the same time. Death by snoo.
Yeah, I'm reading all this Hugh Newman stuff. I wish I would have got in. That's the one where Andrew went to go look for his wallet, and then they wouldn't let me in because it was so full.
Hey, you know what? Yeah. You had a full fucking day off that you could have looked into Hugh Newman. So fuck you. Don't blame it on me.
Well, I was kind of reading other stuff, and then I'm like looking at his stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is fucking interesting. He's got so many pictures of he's got this picture of this skull with fucking horns.
Yeah, he talked about that one. He talked about that one at the.
He wasn't sure about that one, but he said that there's weird stuff like that all the time. They found.
Yeah, the thing is like a lot of this stuff. It's like it's really hard to really believe this stuff because, especially during the 19th century, there were tons of hoaxes like the Piltdown Man, the Cardiff Giant, Barnum and Bailey's, Fiji mermaids, and stuff like that. It's just there were so many hoaxes back then that it's really hard. To find.
But they did that shit for a reason. They did like, hey, look what I found. It's not like you just randomly stumbled across that stuff, right? Like,
but some of
it's
them
not like
really
they buried
good.
it and was like, oh fuck, I forgot, or
like some of them are really good. Like I mean, they're dudes who like professional hoaxes, and it's like some of the stuff's really good. So it's really hard to believe some of the stuff. It's like if they don't have hard facts, if you don't have like an actual anthropologist or biologist go over this and be like, yes, this is a bone that comes from a person.
You know what? If you're out there and you're a hoaxer,
fuck
yourself.
Yeah, fuck you, fucking dick.
What a dick.
Because there is hoaxes. I'm not saying there's no hoaxes. Like that's Giant is especially one. Like people have been proven. There's a guy who like poured like a fucking, I can't remember his name. He poured like a statue of a giant and purposely buried it for a year and then dug it up and claimed he found a giant.
That was the Cardiff Giant.
Yeah. So
I
talked about that one on one of our.
He's doing it
that was
so
one
he
of
can
our
get
after
some
hours.
That's what I mean. They're doing it for money.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But the people who would just dig up one of these mounds and find bones and they're like,
those guys are the real hoaxers because they're like, this is gonna fuck somebody up 500 years from now.
There's
Somebody's gonna be fucking rattled.
There's a ton of those stories in the news clippings and stuff, and they're like, when we pulled the bones out, they crumbled to dust, and then like that that doesn't happen.
No, you lose
Yeah,
all
but just
credibility.
because there's some news stories that don't pan out doesn't mean every single news story is a fucking hoax.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm
Fake
not
news.
saying that. Just like
Fake
And
there's-
if and when you have
Could be.
1,000 accounts,
Yeah.
that just this guy alone is him and like two other guys have pulled up 1,000 different articles pre 1940. After 1940, there's not really much. So that's the conspiracy side, and that's something that you can go down a different rabbit hole for.
What year
but-
did the NBA start? What year? That's what they're doing. That's
I
what
don't
they got to the
they
Giants.
don't want to rewrite the textbooks. Everybody's too lazy to rewrite
Exactly.
textbooks.
That's
what
they
I
started the NBA.
That's what I mean. It's the same thing with like all these megalithic cultures. They don't want to rewrite because the Sphinx is proven now to be built before the Great Pyramid, and in their current timeline in Egyptology, the Sphinx is built by I can't remember who, but it's well after the Great Pyramid. But these guys like Robert Schoch and like John Anthony West and these other fucking guys who are like, they're actually like MIT geologists. So Robert Schoch is an MIT geologist, and he's like, no conspiracy side, nothing about aliens. You take this rock, and you can judge that this rock is at least 2,000 or 3,000 years older than the Great Pyramids.
Well, didn't they do that? They did the water erosion, and that's how they did
The
it.
weathering,
It's
yeah.
weathering on the
Like-
Sphinx.
Also, NBA started in like 1945.
What are you,
Coincidence? I
what
don't
are you
think so.
saying?
I'm saying that that's where the Giants are. They stopped reporting everything because
They're hiding in plain sight.
They're like put them all in the NBA.
No.
That's it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Monstars are real.
Monstars.
Monstars are fucking real.
For the well, we'll talk about it after. I got a funny after hours story about Monstars. But anyways, what else we got on Giants? It's weird like looking into the articles where they're like, I just have such a hard time believing because I think back in the day when all these articles are written, like
People are
news doesn't
smarter.
spread that fast, you know what I mean? So if you get some fucking hillbilly being like, I found a fucking 3-foot femur, it's fucking huge, and like the paper would be like, oh, all right, we'll run it on page 6, giant found, right? Whatever. What else are we gonna write?
So you're saying like all
There
like
could be
all
very
the
well
mainstream
some hillbilly
articles.
that's got a giant skeleton in their
I'm
on their
just
property.
saying.
And nobody
I'm
heard
just-
about it.
I'm just saying, like the hoaxes back then could easily get in the papers because
Yeah, but
there's not. It's not like information out today.
I don't think when people talk about people in the 1940s as being not smart, because the actual academics in the 1940s were the smartest people that we've ever known. All of our theories that we use today were developed in the late 1800s to like 1940,
And
they're like, and that was a time when people who actually went to college were like true. That's like what they were the true academics. Now when you got people fucking, you get a master's degree online, you're like, oh, I'm a fucking like
Wait.
my master's degree.
you're reading
I'm
what
a
other people
genius.
wrote
I'm a
now.
certified
Back then,
genius.
you were the one writing it. But not only that, what I don't understand is, for you, like you yourself, you believe in fucking aliens. It's the exact same fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like, how can you poo-poo on giants and be like, not a fucking chance, but I 100% believe in aliens?
Well, we never said we 100% believe, but I believe something's going on with it.
Well, yeah, it's
with
just
aliens.
I don't know. Like,
I'm not poo-pooing.
You fucking
On
poo-pooed
giants.
all over this place.
I'm gonna say you guys
I'm
all
just-
you guys all poo-pooed on giants just a little bit.
Listen,
I'm saying
not
they're walking
once
around with us
poo-pooed.
right now. That's my argument. I'm saying back. It's all relative. Back in the day, somebody fucking 6 foot tall was a fucking giant compared to the
Yeah, but
average height.
we're not talking about that. We're like that's
You're on
Yeah,
the
no
wrong
one's
page.
arguing.
But
that.
you could be like that. That's what you're assuming, right? Like that's
No.
you're saying there's a whole fucking race of these people, right?
A different species, not
different
just one of
species.
us that's taller than us. That's not a giant. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
I wonder if you do like. I wonder if you went and like maybe like some of these people like Angus McGillicuddy, if you like tested his DNA, if it's like a little different, like maybe he was like some sort of hybrid, like he had some giant. That boy's got some giant's blood in him, right? Like maybe from back in the day.
Well, yeah, like if you go with like if you believe like if you go down like the religious way, Nephilims were what was it? It was like
Sons of God and the
daughters of man created the Nephilim, which were a giant,
and they say they think the sons of man were angels.
and the angels would have been an alien.
Yeah.
See, and this is, I think this is why I poo-poo. If I do poo-poo on giants at all, this is why, because as soon as we start getting like, because I'm like, okay, well, why is anyone hiding this? Why do they need to hide it? And then I start to think in my
Trying to
head,
hide
I
God.
start to think flat earthers.
Trying to hide God.
They're trying to hide God,
conspiracy to
boys.
hide
Like,
God.
no, they're hiding the giants.
Yeah, but you could easily say that about anything we talk about. 9/11. Well, why would they even hide it? You know, like HARP. Why would they even like? There's obviously a reason they're hiding it. There's a whole fucking business of education based on the textbooks they teach. If there was if giants were proven to be real, if there's a new species of human that was that we found like a preserved like fossil of it, and we could like test the DNA and it proves that this is not human, and we judge like his brain is, he's probably way more, like his brain is way more powerful, and he could probably lift 10 times more. It's going to throw an entire wrench into the whole education system, and everyone who makes money off textbooks, and everyone makes money of selling people like archaeology and Egyptology and all these like things that are supposed to be the truth of our origins that we don't really know. If that's proven to be a complete like 180 than what we think, the whole academic community is on its head. And I don't think that's that far of the question for when people make a lot of fucking money off selling education. So if you're gonna like throw a little wrench into the whole thing.
But how long have they been hiding this for then, you think?
My thing is like
About the 40s.
So around the 40s is how long
I think so.
Okay.
Which is pretty much like
which makes sense because that coincides with all the textbooks and shit like that.
With healthcare, like Rockefeller education, and like all
you
the
bring it back on those fucking cunts. I don't.
I'm saying around that time, all the stuff was like kind of like pushed down one avenue of thought. Medicine was down one way, which was pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. Those fuckers own all the banks except for the giant banks. That's why they're after them. They're trying to hide that shit. They don't want us investing in giant bank. Giants Incorporated.
See, I don't know. I just have a hard time with giants. I don't know. I don't know why I have such a hard time jumping. Like, I like what you're saying. I like what you're putting down. I just have such a hard time with giants.
Why? Why do you have a hard time? I honestly, this is an honest question. Why a hard time? If you can talk about aliens and UFOs and it's like not a big deal. A different species of hominid, which is 2 feet taller, that lived 10 or 12,000 years ago, and probably there's not really a lot of fossils left, if there is any. Well, it's not that crazy.
Well, because my thing, like the whole education, like, it would flip it upside down. You don't think they could just zero out and then start making new textbooks and be like, hey, we have to sell all these new textbooks and all this new education. You got to pay us more money now because everything has to be changed.
It's not the people in education. It's all the people in the industry already, all the professionals, everything about it. If you go and look at stuff that's taught in high school, I guarantee a whole bunch of it is already proven to be false, yet they still teach it in high school, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that.
Right? It's just how it's been taught for the last 100 years, and they don't change it. Even though we probably know a whole bunch of different stuff about our social past and like social studies and all that stuff, we probably still teach that Columbus was the guy who fucking discovered America, and he's seen a fucking moth walk over an orange. He's like, oh, the Earth must be round. Like, that's fucking bullshit. And everyone knows it. Yet they still teach it to kids.
So you don't think the Yao Mings and the Shaquille O'Neals are some type of descendant?
They're the top portion of the human race in height.
It just blows my mind that there can be such a difference. You know what I mean? Like that.
Well, think about it. There's a bigger difference between you and a guy who's 4'4" than a guy who's 6'9".
Thank you for making me feel better about my height. I feel better right now.
So I mean, like, there's the difference in stature from a guy who's like 4'4" to 6'9".
Well, but that's what I'm saying though. Like even just the way, like what other, other than us and cats and shit like that, what other has that big of a fucking size difference
dogs
in animal like
fucking dogs?
Well, no,
even
cats size varies.
How about
bigger
this?
than dogs.
Let's take bears. Fucking grizzly bear.
Yeah.
So grizzly bear is fucking a big animal.
Yeah.
800 pounds, 1,000 pounds is a big one.
Yeah.
But then you go to the island of Kodiak, where Kodiak grizzlies get like 1,400 or 1,600 pounds. It's the same bear, because their diet is different and the region they live is different. They become absolute fucking monsters of bears. And a Kodiak grizzly bear is going to fucking annihilate a fellow grizzly bear across the fucking way who weighs 800 pounds less.
Yeah.
So it's not like...
But like, even... I know it's heavier and obviously it's going to be somewhat taller, but still the difference between a fucking person who's 4 foot nothing and you compare them to Yao Ming or Shaq, like that's fucking next level.
If the guy's 4'4" weighs 100 pounds and the guy's 6'9" weighs 350, it's only 250 pounds difference.
I guess, yeah.
It's only 250 pounds.
That's what I'm saying though. But if there's a bear weighs 800, like I'm saying, that there's a fucking extremes in every animal
But their
kingdom.
bone structure and shit is still relatively the same as opposed to the fucking borderline midget compared to the fucking world's tallest person.
I'm not talking about a dwarf, like dwarfism.
No, but I'm talking like
World's smallest
shortest
person, like world's
Poison.
person,
world's smallest poison.
world's smallest person with normal proportions to the world's tallest person with normal proportions. I don't think it's that crazy.
Neither.
I don't know.
Especially the same species. I mean, yeah. Like, look at dogs. Like we said, like
Chihuahua
a
versus a
pug
Great Dane.
and a German Shepherd are the same. They're same species.
Pretty much identical, yeah. And like genetic code. Just to look.
I mean, there's still. I mean, you look at it. There's they've identified like Neanderthal DNA in our DNA.
Yeah, and
So there is
percentage,
evidence for interbreeding, and there's also parts of our DNA that they don't know where it came from yet.
aliens.
So aliens, or
I'm not saying
giants.
it's aliens, but it's aliens.
Not saying it's aliens, but it could be giants.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. I'm just saying giants.
We're all frost giants.
I don't think you can poo-poo on the giant thing too much unless you really, really look into it. If you just look at some newspaper headlines and some of the fake pictures, yes, it fucking looks like an absolute complete hoax, 100%. But if you really start looking at like all
No,
this
I
stuff,
bought in. You sold me. I bought in.
I'm not
buying
100%
into
sold. I'm
Giants.
just saying it's not that far out of the realm of possibility.
No, I'm buying
on a lot
in.
of the stuff we talk about, this like a different species of hominid that existed a long time ago that we haven't quite discovered yet. Not that crazy.
Makes more sense to me than I think that's an easier concept to grasp than fucking aliens, personally.
It is. It
For
really
me,
is.
it is.
It's like it's grounded on this planet. It's just they look like us. They're way bigger, way stronger.
When we talk about it in regards to the pyramids and stuff, and like it kind of making more sense with how those were built, and I get on board.
Get on board.
And same thing. If you look at a lot of these ancient cultures, like if you look at ancient Egypt and their hieroglyphs, and when they draw all their pictures, and there's always like a person that looks just way bigger than everyone else. You're like, well, why?
Yeah, they
Maybe-
could be, but they could be those people are more important. Like I still
be.
kind of believe that
It could
kind
be.
of stuff,
But maybe
but
not.
Maybe I don't like. Maybe I poo-poo on giants because it takes away from aliens a little bit.
It doesn't though.
They could be aliens.
there's room for aliens in there.
Is there room for aliens and giants?
There's room for aliens and giants and
Is this-
Sasquatches.
Giant
everywhere.
aliens.
Is this
the-
town big enough for the three of them?
Maybe the aliens were the giants.
Yeah, exactly.
They came down here.
So I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you stick with
Come on in.
I'm saying if you stick with North America, just go look up
Yeah.
some of the crazy stuff, like the Serpent Mound in Ohio, where they found multiple 7-foot skeletons. It's a 1,300-foot like dirt effigy resembling a serpent. It's got a curly tail, a huge long serpent body with a mouth
Yeah,
that's like with a fucking world on it. It looks like a big like orb or something at the end of it. No one knows who built it. No one really knows exactly how old it is. And the Aboriginals around the area just say it was built by the giants.
And now these giants are the ones that are in these little fucking shanty towns on display.
That's all. That's what Hugh Newman, man with a great name,
Fucking right.
says. Like the only ones that are still on display are on small towns around the U.S. and around the U.K.
And they don't like.
They're not
We
in
gotta
any-
be able to find some type of advertisement. These motherfuckers got Wi-Fi. They got to post some of this shit. There'd be somebody on their Facebook being like, taking their smiley picture next to the alien pointing at it.
I'm just to say before we poop on it too hard, we'll get Hugh Newman or someone like that who's really looked into it.
Yeah,
He'll give
I would love
his
to
spiel.
have
He'll give his spiel.
Hugh Newman come on and talk about giants.
Fucking right.
'Cause it's pretty
Those
cool.
mounds are fucking cool though. The snake mound, it's fucking cool looking.
Yeah, that is cool.
Lots of cool shit like that, man. Tons of like hundreds or thousands of mounds across the states.
Nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. With no explanation. Nobody says.
All the Aboriginal cultures around the area said it was built by giants or a different.
I love how they didn't take credit for it.
No,
You know what I mean?
we
They're
can't
like,
build that
I don't
shit.
know. I don't know who did that.
Can't build this
You
fucking.
go to
thing.
Egypt and they're like, we built all of this shit.
Everything we
Every
built it
fucking
all.
thing.
Yeah, all of us.
Even though it predates us, we fucking built this
We
shit.
fucking built
All right,
it.
we did it.
But we can prove it didn't. No, you're lying.
No, you're full of shit.
Science doesn't lie. Well, it's lying right now. Like, yeah, fuck no. Yeah, that's my spiel on giants.
Cool.
I went down the rabbit hole. I'm like, man, it's cool. It's a cool theory. It fits with a lot of Graham Hancock's and a lot of these other people's about a pre-Diluvian race of pretty much superhumans, really. Taller, stronger, smarter, could build better, had different new physics different than us. They could build these pyramids like perfectly aligned with like the stars all the time across the whole planet.
just way smarter. Yeah.
They knew more, and maybe now we're
Aliens.
just starting to get there. I don't know.
They're aliens.
Could be aliens.
Aliens.
It's not far out of the realm.
Giant aliens.
Giant motherfucking aliens, just like Alien Covenant. Was it Covenant or no? What was the one where the guy?
Oh,
where they,
yeah, where they're all jacked.
they're
The
fucking
Oh,
huge
white
fucking
ones,
aliens.
yeah.
Pro-
That was Covenant, wasn't it?
Prometheus?
Prometheus.
Yeah, Prometheus.
But Covenant's in the same. It's
Yeah.
it's all the same.
Yeah, same shit.
They're in there.
Who knows?
They're in Covenant too. But he dropped the things on them.
I never seen Covenant, so I actually can't.
Oh,
Yeah,
spoiled.
the big, scary, sexy white alien guys that are chasing everybody around with their big muscles. Fucking
What?
terrifying.
So sexy. But
They're
terrifying.
sexy.
they are
Jacked.
fucking jacked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're fucking stupid, sexy aliens. They're not wearing anything at all.
All right, that's all I got on Giants, boys. I don't know anything else.
No, it's we'll leave. We'll come back to Giants another day. Leave it for now. I would love to try to get Hugh Newman. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities for.
I don't think
us to
he's
get him
done.
on.
I've heard him on a couple other podcasts. He'd probably come on.
Yeah, we can
He
get.
seemed like a nice guy.
Buddy, Giorgio Tsoukalos pickpocketed me, okay? Anything's possible.
Legend.
All right? Anything is fucking possible.
All right. Well, let's get into some podcast reviews.
Oh yeah, we got some good ones.
Yeah, some we'll read after.
Some we'll read on after hours because
Yeah.
as the podcast gets bigger, we get more haters.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
and there's some good ones. This one's from Tay728 from the US of A. My favorite pod, 5 stars. I've been listening since episode 3. By far my favorite podcast, and I listen to 30 different podcasts. This show is unlike most. The theorists have great chemistry and very funny. Good research, but not too heavy to listen to. Great topics, and best of all, it is the Canadian accents. Keep it up, guys, and soon you'll be the #1 alien conspiracy show around. Thanks, Tay.
Dope.
Thanks for the words of encouragement. I don't have a Canadian accent that I'm aware of, but
You're,
I'm American.
you're starting to develop one, buddy.
Yeah.
oh god damn it!
This one's from VA Believer in the US of A. Awesome podcast, but 5-star review. This is an awesome podcast. The boys are both entertaining and informative. Brackets, unless they've had too many beers have been consumed. Air quotations, Braden. Close bracket. In the realm, like in 70 podcasts, I've been meat draw drunk.
Shouldn't it be EG? It shouldn't be EG. It should be EG or
It should
IE.
be IE. But I've been like the amount of times I've had too many beers.
Mr. Meat
I don't
Draw.
think.
It's only a few.
Yeah,
You've only
there's
been
only
Mr.
been a
Meat Draw a
couple-
couple times.
There's only been a couple times where Mr. Meat Draw has come out to play. I love how that's my alter ego now.
Mr. Meat Draw. good shit.
Where was I on this? Really enjoy listening to the lively discussions as I'm stuck in Virginia traffic. All that being said, I am devastated that the Randomotran 2000 is no longer part of the show. This was my favorite part of the show. Oh well, I'll still listen. Believer in Arlington, VA, USA. Well, by the time you hear this, it's back, baby.
Hopefully like the X3.
It has returned.
What else you got, Zell?
I got a couple off Facebook here. Jesse Mars. Alien Theorist Theorizing is the best conspiracy podcast in the skies. Prepare your mind to be meat draw drunk. And it's it's always coming out now. On Ron Pond approved theories and banter. If you don't know where to start, here are some classics I recommend. Number 9, The Curious Case of Alyssa Lamb. Number 36, El Nasty. Number 43, Denver Airport. And number 53, Aleister Crowley. Keep up the awesome content, guys. Huh? I still say it to this day. I didn't like Denver Airport on my part, but whatever.
You didn't like what?
Denver Airport.
I don't know. I don't even think I was on that one.
No, you weren't. Just me and Braden.
That's why it sucked.
Yeah.
Right, Dan?
Well, lots of people liked it. It's weird because I was like, we finished that show and I was like, eh.
I think we finished most of ours, and I'm like, meh.
I'll read one more from Facebook, and then I got a whole bunch
right.
to read, and you're going to have to bear with me. From Desiree Katerer. Yeah, I probably fucked that one up. No big deal. Love the podcast. Catching up on the last couple of months. Love the conspiracies and the comedy. Listen to this show if you're into aliens, government cover-ups, paranormal, etc. These guys are always a good laugh. Keep up the podcast, guys. Always keeping me eyes on the skies. Thanks, Desiree. And there's more, but I'm not going to read any more today because I got something I've been meaning to do for a while, and I'm going to follow through with it right now. I'm going to fuck up at least 29 names, probably more. The people who donate to our Patreon. The show is ad-free always, but this is the only ad you're going to hear, and it's for the people who support the show. So I'm going to read every single person who is supporting the show currently at this moment. Starting with our top tier approved alien theorists: Alex, Cole Connor, Jesse Doyle, Graham Ashcroft, and Drew Baca. And then moving down to Ron Pond approved: Ruben Medina, Matt Sapola, Zach Dissinger, Eric Molina, Christopher Stutz, and Johnny Kuhn. And then what do we got here? Yep, a whole bunch more. $10 tier: Julia Wilson, Andrew Taylor, Chris Fahey, Christopher Duarte? I don't know. Albin Matson, Brianna Servasio, Adam Fairfield, Hani Jorgensen, Miguel Omelis, Brock Masters, Chris Moreno, Trent DeGiannia. I fucked that one up before. Sorry, buddy. You're the man still. Tyler Gillum, Tyler Gepford, Shelley Maddock, Nathan Hickey, Angela Lambarto, Jake Rogu, Chris Leib, I don't know. Ryan Villardo, Leib, L-A-I-B, Leib, Chris Leib. I don't know. I fucked that one up before too. James Shepard, Jordan Corey Hines, Chris Ayala, Elaine Tremblay, Cole Berry, the man of our theme song master, Mike Rutledge, Marlene Ramirez, Taylor Schmidt, Alexander Fuentes, Philip Sedon, Rebecca Bloom, Ike Heyman, Ashley Hatt, Chad Cooper, Anthony Doyle, Tyler Weiss, I think it's Weiss, Darth Nerf Herder, Shannon Miller, Diego Aurora, nope, not Aurora, Arroyo, Diego Arroyo,
Joshua. I can't read.
Yeah,
Wow.
fuck, Jesus, man. Joshua Martinez.
You've probably gotten like two names right.
It's harder than it looks, eh? Huh? Not so funny now.
It's pretty.
I'm doing a better job.
Yeah, you are. 100%. Definitely.
Silas, Matt Wilson, Jack Offsalot, Shannon Crawford, Javier Jimenez.
Jimenez.
Well, I don't know. I'm fucking Canada, man. I don't know how to pronounce these names. Mariano Lucero III, Thomas Moorcroft, or brackets Tommy Doom, Tony Phonic, Tanner, Melissa Pereira, Steve Fallon, Todd Clement, Rob McFadden, Rich O'Brien, Jordan, Jay Dunicliffe, I'm 777, Doug Champagne, the man with the tattoo, James, Aloon Tyler, May, Kelly Hendricks, Holly Mellon, Dulcie Schultz, Ray Dizzle, Jeffrey Wilcoxon, Mana Tarapo, Austin Nieves, Dynamike Lafer, Aaron Kelly, Chris Langley, Forrest Moffat, Turd Ferguson.
Nice.
That's fun, hilarious. Ryan Morgan, Cody Thabo, He's, Mandy Norton, Sean Smith, Josh Hilton, AJ Rothert, Mike Lupe, Sterling, Gary Smith, Emily Tooley, Alex Richmond, Emily Scordato, Jeremiah Parrish, Aria Arbrego, Miranda Medina, Catherine Murdoch, Blake Edward, Dan Mansbridge, Scary Canary, Allison Abril, Miranda Pelicano, Aaron Amador, Kyle James. God damn. We're still going, boys. We're doing every single one. Don't you dare turn off this podcast. Give these people the respect they deserve.
It's like watching the credits at the end of the movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And then you were sitting beside someone who read every fucking name.
Yeah, I do that. I do that at the Marvel movies. Okay,
Dan does that. He reads random names. I'm like, why are you doing that? He's like, it's nice. Someone out there, that guy worked on that, and someone out there saying his name.
All I'm saying is there better be a fucking after the credits scene because this is painful.
It's like those people. That key grip dude, that key grip guy, has worked on that. Whatever. He's been on that movie set.
He worked fucking hard.
His parents are proud to get his name read. Somebody read his name.
All right, how many
Let
we got
this
left?
end.
Keep going.
Nope.
Stop interrupting.
It's not ending yet.
No, stop interrupting.
Yeah,
Go.
Yeah, fuck you guys. Come on.
Go.
Justin Arnaz, Eric. Oh, fuck. I got to get close to this computer for this one. Erica Ochdolfer. That's a hard one. Zach Ludwig. Raquel Carcamo. Raquel Carcamo. Tom Burt. Seth Gifford. Nick Smith. Pickle Rick. Morgan.
Nice.
Beaky. Just Beaky. Awesome.
Pickle Rick.
Alex K. SoCal Chorus Ron Pondant. Been around for a long time. Lindy Rose. Natalie Burton. Cassie Gianzo. Nicholas. Sheila Ramtool. Brady Barrow. Austin Barnes. Jack Keating, and Caleb. And donating to the beer fund, we have Kelsey Din, Dylan Barnhill, Kimberly Lauer, Laura Wilson Anderson, Katie Parker, Jeremy Stair, Blair Nitschke, Corrine Crichton, Gabrielle Witherspoon, Amanda Willett, Christopher McCormick. Are you McCormick Candy Banana Fortune? Send us some. Liam, Joel Dunham, John Paul, Cody Reinerson, Nolan Hansen, Stephen Scott, Sabrina Moon, Will DeRoche, John Trump, Madison Elliott, 401 Files, a YouTube channel. Thanks, buddy. Mark Walls, and last but not least, Linda Clark. And that's everyone supporting the show at this point in July 2018. We appreciate you all a lot. Thank you very much.
Oh, shit.
Whew. And I can't speak anymore. I'm done.
No.
All right. Well, as we like to always say, keep those eyes on the skies.
Peace.
Let's get right into some after hours.
Woo! Wait.
We got a couple.
My recording stopped like an hour in.
Oh, God damn it.
Oh, God damn
What
it,
does that
Dan.
fucking do?
Nothing. It
cut
just
off.
sucks. You guys are horrible. It's all good.
I'm
going
mine's
home.
good.
Bye.
But
Okay, Andrew's leaving. We'll talk about him on After Hours.
Fuck
All right.
that guy. He's a
Okay.
dick.
Idiot.
all right.
Hates Giants.
I love Giants.
Hey, I'm gonna read these one-star reviews.
Oh, I wait. Okay. Okay, I'll come back.
He's coming back from one-star
All right.
These are
reviews.
fucking great. I need to hear this.
This is from this one-star review is from Canada.
Oh, come
It's
on.
from Super Duper Fred. 1 star from our own Canadian brethren.